and today I wanted to talk about Animal Crossing. Now, I am a big Animal Crossing fan. I've played a lot of Animal Crossing games, but my favourite one so far, obviously, is Animal Crossing New Leaf. Just because there is just so much more you can do in it, and the fact that they've made a lot of the system of how Animal Crossing works easier, which I love. As you can also see today, I am dressed as Reese from Animal Crossing, who works in the retail store. Woohoo! Yes, this week is very hot right now because Australian heat. Alright, so I have 5 things that I would love to see in the new Nintendo Switch Animal Crossing game. If it comes. At the moment we don't know anything about it. There have been rumours floating around that there is going to be an Animal Crossing Switch. I feel like it would be highly likely there's going to be an Animal Crossing Switch, just because the fact that Animal Crossing has really grown as a franchise for Nintendo, and that it's a really popular game for the Nintendo 3DS and sold really well. So I'm expecting one to come across to the Switch, kind of like how Pokemon is coming across to the Switch and leaving the 3DS now. So I kind of expect the same to happen with Animal Crossing too. My little notebook of my 5 things that I want to touch on, so I make sure that I hit all the main points that I want to talk about. And maybe these are things that you would expect in the new Nintendo Switch for Animal Crossing 2, or you would like, or things that you might like to see in the new Animal Crossing game as well. You can also comment down below too what sort of things that you would like to see in the new Animal Crossing game. Maybe what your predictions are for Animal Crossing when it's going to come out for the Switch, all that sort of stuff. So if you want to talk Animal Crossing, please leave a comment in the section below and I will look at them and respond. Alright, so one of the first points that I have down on my beautiful notebook here, which I'm just going to show a little bit of, is to be able to send mail to other players in the game. So if you own Animal Crossing and a friend of yours own Animal Crossing, then you can send presents or send mail to your friend without actually having to come over to your friend's neighborhood village and collect the gift or the letter from you. So I think that would be a really nice thing to incorporate with the whole multiplayer experience of Animal Crossing. I feel like it would make it a lot more realistic feeling and just a lot more wholesome, you know, to be able to send mail to your friends. I feel like it would make mail a lot more interesting and a lot more usable, I guess. I know when I'm playing Animal Crossing, for a little while I'll send mail to my villages and stuff like that and send presents and things like that, but for the most part I really don't use it that much. And I feel like if I had friends who owned Animal Crossing and I could send mail directly to their system without actually having them to come over to my village to give them stuff, I feel like I would use the system a lot more. So I thought that would be a really nice, a nice thing to have. I also think too, like, if you have people who aren't your friends, but you want to give them an item or something like that, help them out, give them some money, then I feel like that would be a really nice thing to have that system in place, in case you're worried about people, stealing something from your town, or, taking money, taking items that they weren't meant to take, all that sort of stuff, cutting down trees. If you're worried about that sort of stuff, this would be a nice way to solve that sort of problem if you just wanted to send them one item or some money. I thought that would be a really nice idea, and I feel like I would get a lot more use out of the system if we could do that. So, I mean, we know from Splatoon 2 that you can connect 8 switches together at once. So I feel like if you could do that with Animal Crossing 2, that would be really cool. Point number 2. So my point number 2 is that we should be able to move villagers' houses on, like, the HHD grid system that you've got going on for your house and what you have going on for Happy Home Designer for Animal Crossing. I feel like if they could take that concept of being able to move things around that easily and take it to the whole town and be able to move, like, villages wherever you want to put them, trees, bushes, and just like be able to like tap and move things the way you want it to. I know for a lot of people who like designing their towns and, you know, being really creative with that sort of stuff, that would be a really great thing to have. Because at the moment, the only way you can do a lot of that stuff is through hacking. So if you don't want to risk damaging your Animal Crossing game, or, you know, having to put in all that extra work to hack all this stuff in and be able to move stuff wherever you want it to, I feel like it would be a great thing to add it in. So they already have it on a small scale of being it in just a house. In Happy Home Design, they have the outside as well as the inside of a house. So I don't see why they couldn't take that concept and then move it to a whole Animal Crossing town where you have a bit more control of how you can design your town. And I feel like if they stick with the mayor concept, that would make a lot more sense. I mean, if they didn't do that, I would at least like some way that is easier to be able to move the villages in my town. Because, let's be honest here, villages plot their houses in some really terrible spots. And I mean, you can put down like QR code patterns and stuff to try and stop them from doing that sort of stuff and reorganize it that way, but that is a lot of effort, especially if you're just a casual player. I feel like that would be a lot of effort to go to for, you know, just having your villages where you want them to, instead of being like right near the beach side and cutting off your entry. Or you're going to put something in that specific area but you haven't done it yet, and then they land a house there and you can't move it until they move out. Or, you know, you have one of the special Animal Crossing cards and you tap that to be able to move them out and get someone else in. So I feel like if they could make some sort of system to make designing towns a lot more enjoyable instead of more, I don't know, tricky or like just a pain in the butt to do, I feel like that would be a really great addition to the new Animal Crossing game. Alright, point number 3. I would like to see some more public work projects. Now, this is a thing that I think a lot of people have been asking for. Like, ever since we got New Leaf and we've been able to experience public work projects, people just want more of them. I mean, they had a pretty good variety for just introducing it to us, but I feel like they can definitely expand and grow on those sorts of things. Just designing the town in general. So this kind of comes back to the first and the second point. Kind of comes back to those points of like designing your town is such a big thing for Animal Crossing fans. It's what Animal Crossing fans really enjoy doing for the most part. And it's really like satisfying to be able to create your town and design it the way you want it to look, instead of being restricted by things like you were in past games. So I feel like the more they open that up and more they expand on those sorts of things, that, you know, the more creativity they'll see from their fans and the more we'll want to play to make our towns look the way we want them to. So more public work projects. That's what we need. And I mean, I guess maybe like even event themed public work projects, you know, ones for Valentine's Day, you know, Christmas time, all those sorts of like events, Halloween decorations. I mean, I feel like that would be really cool. And this kind of ties into my point number 4, more house and furniture options. So, you know, like I was saying before about the events thing, like if we take like something like Christmas, for example, you know, like it would be a really nice thing if we could add up some Christmas lights on the outside of our house. I feel like that would be a really nice addition to be able to do those sorts of things, or add some sort of Christmas decorations outside. Do the same sort of thing for like Halloween or Valentine's Day or any of those other holidays. I mean, they have a really good range of furniture and stuff already, but like I said, there's always more room to grow. And because the Switch is a lot, well, let's face it, the Switch has a lot more power and stuff than what a DS does. And so I feel like there is a lot more that they could add and do for an Animal Crossing game on the Switch, which they couldn't do before because they're restricted by the DS limitations. So I feel like they could definitely expand on their category more on just more design options, because like I said, it's one of the main reasons why people enjoy playing Animal Crossing. We like to be able to design stuff the way we want it to look. So the more options you give us, the better, you know, and it's already been shown that it can do a lot with just the DS and its power. So let's see if we can transfer that and get more out of it for the Switch. Like, you know, push the system of the Switch with Animal Crossing like you've done with Zelda, like you've done with Mario. Do that sort of thing with Animal Crossing too, and I will be extra happy. Alright, and my last point, I would like more ways you could play with other people online. Now they started adding that sort of stuff into New Leaf. So we had a couple of mini games. We had the island, which was really cool, and I really did like playing with that with my friends. It was fun, and you could get exclusive items that you couldn't get anywhere else. But I would also like some more options to those sorts of things. Like I said before with my first point, I would like to be able to send mail, like letters and presents and stuff, to my friends without actually them having to come and just pick up an item. I feel like, you know, it would make the experience a lot more worthwhile. You know, I would like to be able to have like an easier chat system for Animal Crossing, because trying to type out your messages with like a stylus on the DS, you know, it's really time consuming, and you're limited by how much you can write. So I feel like if they had some sort of like verbal chat system, or, you know, just an easier typing chat system, that it would make interacting with your friends while they're in your town a lot more enjoyable. Maybe even things like, you know, setting up a public work project that you can actually interact with and do stuff with, because at the moment public work projects you really can't do anything with. I mean, you can walk under archways and stuff like that, which I really love. That is great. They need more public work projects where you can interact with them in some way. Like, if you made like a basketball court, you can play a mini game of basketball or something like that. You know, it doesn't have to be like an overly complicated game. It could just be like trying to get the ball into the hoop and playing with your other friend and doing that as a public work project. I think that would be really cute. Or maybe like a soccer field, or, you know, some sort of sporting thing that you could play with your friend in just a cute little mini game that doesn't have like, you know, isn't like a full expanded like sports game. You know, just something like that I feel like would make it a lot better. Maybe make the island, if they keep the island, you know, make it something like worthwhile going to more often. I mean, you can make a lot of money there because of the beetles and stuff, but maybe you get like insects and stuff that you can't get anywhere else, you know, that you have to visit the island for only, and they pay out a lot more money for those sorts of things. Or, you know, being able to like sail a boat with your friend and something and go through obstacles and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what sort of things they would think about on expanding on multiplayer. Those are just a couple of like really small ideas that they could think about to make those sorts of things more fun and more, you know, holistic and enjoyable to play with your friends, instead of more like, you know, you're showing your friend around your town, you can't really say too much. You know, they're like one-worded or two-worded answers. Yeah. Like a lot of the time when I was playing Animal Crossing with my friends, I would be Skyping with them or something as well, so that we can actually talk without having to worry about typing everything, because that was a real pain for me. So I feel like if they added those 5 things into the game, that it will be a brilliant new game for the Nintendo Switch, but also a really great step forward for Animal Crossing as a franchise. So yeah, at the moment I know there's people who are playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. I played it for a little while. I really didn't find it that enjoyable for me personally, so I actually stopped playing it. I know that I heard a lot of other negative responses from people too, but really it's more, I think, a way to bring in casual Animal Crossing players or people who've never played Animal Crossing before, to introduce them to what Animal Crossing is kind of like before letting them loose in a full like open world Animal Crossing game. So I feel like that's kind of like what Nintendo is trying to do. I think they're trying to bring in new people into the franchise, as well as, you know, keep us old Nintendo, like Animal Crossing fans, happy until the Nintendo Switch game comes out. And hopefully when it does come out, there'll be like a lot of hype for it, because we have seen things with Pocket Camp and we've seen things with New Leaf with their extension and stuff that they put on it for free and all that sort of stuff leading up to this game. And so hopefully they'll get a lot more new people into the franchise and the game will sell really, really well. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I'll be really disappointed if an Animal Crossing game doesn't make it onto the Switch, but I feel like it's highly likely it's going to come out one day or another, like sometime in the future. And when it does, I am definitely 100% going to buy it. So please leave your thoughts about Animal Crossing down below in the comments, and yeah, tell me your thoughts about like what sort of things you would want for the new Animal Crossing game for Nintendo Switch. What sort of things do you think that Nintendo would be capable of doing for Animal Crossing now that it's on a more powerful piece of hardware? That'd be really interesting to hear about. So until my next video, bye!